Hello and welcome to this week's episode of The Adventures of the Windswift. We have a full team with us today, and our journey continues in deepest, darkest Drakenmooore. So, Dice of Destiny will tell us who is doing the review. It is number 41234. That is you, Jenny. Off you go. Remind us what happened last week.
Last week? Last week? We were doing this last week? I was asleep. No. We were in Drakenmooore trying to save Jorek's sister, and last time, Atramentum spent a lot of time sneaking around the castle, invisible, and generally jumping around, climbing, doing, like, Mission Impossible stuff. And I had an arcane eye going. There was a lot of spying and running around. Sekhet was accidentally gifted to one of the vampires as a slave, and he now intends to use her as a fake fiancé to piss off his father, because his father intends to marry Jorek's sister, which the son is not happy about because he thinks, she's lowborn and whatnot. And then the Kajah Bah, the secret police of these people, showed up and wanted to have a talk with Jorek, who was the person who was sort of pretending to be in charge of the group, and brought him to their secret headquarters and started questioning him. While I think Con is a bird somewhere. Are you still a bird somewhere? I'm not sure what Con is doing.
No, I think he's with you in right now. He's with you.
Oh yeah. We
was the first to enter the bar, and then then the rest.
That's true. We were in the bar still.
Atra came with me.
After, yes.
You don't know though.
Jorek.
No, I don't.
And Adru'sai is staying at the bar to look through some papers that Atra had stolen from the secret police. And there's a lot going on right now.
It was lying around.
We should just get into it, honestly.
There's a lot.
He was lying around on his belt.
Yes. It just came off. I was trying to give it back to him, but he ran away.
Yes, it was very mysterious and strange.
That's right.
You're so lucky finding things all over.
Yeah.
All right. So
we happen to be in my bag at some point. Just like...
We return to the musty old bar, which is inhabited by, at the moment, only the few of you and the rather surly-looking barkeep who, now that the Kajah Bah have come in and gone and they didn't come back again, he seems less inclined to help you with anything and sort of seems to focus more on cleaning in the background. What are you doing?
He's doing the barkeep thing, just wiping the desk for hours on end.
Moving the back to the right.
I just work here, man.
Absolutely. So, Atramentum, what are you doing? Not Atramentum, sorry. Adru'sai.
Same thing.
Slight difference.
Slight difference. I was heading up to the room to this mysterious sudden presence of new papers that appeared in my bag by some... invisible benefactor.
Correct, that's right. So you get up to the rooms that have been scoured by Jorek for...
While my arcane eye was heading to Sekhet, or heading to the castle to figure out where Sekhet was. And
so there is a challenge that as you get to the top of the stairs, your eye arrives at the castle and you need to start looking for an entry into the castle. The doors have all been sealed.
The doors are closed, all of them. I tried.
Oh, no.
Correct.
It's okay.
So you have to try and find a gap of an inch or more, which will...
Yes, I'm pretty sure this thing floats.
Yep.
So,
it's not rolling on the ground.
Yeah, it hovers. It just rolls.
It's like a drone.
Squish.
Correct.
Yes. No, I'll just head up and try to find a window.
Like a hamster ball.
Yes.
So you're trying to find this thing. Would you please give me a perception check as you scan the castle?
With my eye.
With your eye.
So with just one eye, does it? Yes, just one eye.
Yeah, with one eye,
22.
22. All right. Eventually you find a looks like it was an old-fashioned chimney of some kind, which you start to drift your way down into, and you make your way back into the interior of the castle. At the same time, however, you arrive at the room that you secured with...
Someone is trying to make a fire.
Oh, no.
Well, it's a magic eye.
Yes. So you enter in, and you have the satchel with you.
Yes. I'm going to just settle down and start going through the papers.
All right. You start reading through the papers. Would you give me a concentration check, please? Because there's a rather startling discovery within it.
Oh.
It's drawings of
that is
compromising
positions. Check. Right. It's not a saving throw, it's just
Constitution.
A check, right?
Concentration's
Constitution's
10, DC 10.
Oh, that's 10.
If it's not changed by the...
Right. So you got 10 on the button?
Yeah.
All right. So it's kind of shocking, but you managed to hold your concentration on the eye. Perhaps it's by focusing on what the eye is seeing, which is far more pleasurable than what you're seeing on the notes in front of you. The notes in front of you seem to be a dissertation on the pressure points within a Cathar body and how is it a confession from the Cathar. There is another page further on which then deals with human weaknesses and vulnerabilities and known pressure points and the like. Then there's a page on how to keep the blood separated from the whole affair sort of deal. So
I get up and lock the door. And then I get back to reading.
All right.
Should not be reading Tumblr at work.
No.
Con, what are you doing?
Tumblrs do you think I go on?
Well, nowadays it's only ones with little kittens.
Yay!
Con, what are you doing while this is going on?
No, I followed Adru'sai up.
All right.
You said you were, I think last time you already entered the room, right? And had checked for any spy devices and so on as well.
Yeah. So you see these drawings that Adru'sai is looking at, as well as her sort of... There's a certain amount of concentration going on, and she pauses every now and again with the pages, and then goes back to looking at the pages.
I think I might sort of make comments to Con if he's in the room, sort of, this is not great. It seems like they were sort of prepared to encounter us specifically.
Are there any windows in the room?
Yes, there is one that looks out over the street. It is quite well barred and...
No glass?
Well, it's got a little bar over the window, so it doesn't get open from the outside, I should say. But there's no bars on it at all.
No. I sort of hover near the window watching the street.
Sure. Do you look at any of the notes that Adru'sai is going through?
Well, she's telling me what she's reading, so...
Right. Give me a medicine check, if you please.
You have to teach me that hover thing someday.
Wow. 27.
There is a moment where she's describing what she's seeing, and you pause for a moment because the method that is described in terms of eliciting pain, you're fairly certain will work very, 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 very well. And the idea of inserting these long metal cables, by the looks of things, and then heating them at one end so that the temperature starts to flow throughout the entire vein, does sound like one of the most hideous ways of conducting. Well, you're not entirely sure what that would do exactly, apart from...
Guy, did you know that copper conducts heat very well?
Yeah. So, yes.
At this point, I sort of wander over from the window and start looking at what are you reading?
It mysteriously appeared.
Atramentum gave it to me.
No, it mysteriously appeared in my bag. I didn't get this.
What?
And we were downstairs when the Kajah Bah arrived, and this mysteriously appeared in my bag. I have a feeling someone invisible shoved it there. Maybe someone who stole it from them, because this seems very secret policey.
There are written descriptions of Jorek and Adru'sai
Ooh, this was me.
Yes, possibly that's why the two of you are included so much. Then there are several notes on Atramentum as well that have been included. There's some sub notes on so far everyone that you've spoken to with references to file numbers. You're not entirely sure what exactly, but most likely it's the files on those people, such as the innkeeper, the casual person that you may or may not have said hello to as you arrived.
Yeah, the clothes merchants.
Yes, the clothes merchants, correct. The lengths of the fabric that were purchased have been listed and jotted down.
This is horrifying, but I'm actually really impressed. This is very thorough.
Very thorough. Jorek, Atramentum, what are you doing? I believe, Atra, you were invisible following Jorek. Is that?
I was outside of the room waiting basically for things to happen, and I think we last left with actually him, Jorek, getting out of prison or whatever, and I'm behind him basically invisibly.
Yeah, they demanded that I find out who Con is and report to them the following midday, I think.
Correct.
By the bridge.
At the bridge, by the pond.
I mean, Tobias, he's a con man, what not?
Hey-oh.
Yeah. So I'm heading back to the hotel.
That would be an optimistic appraisal of the establishment.
So what I would do while he moves back, I will not make necessarily myself known that I am there, but what I would like to do is tail him and tail the tail to see who is following, how many people are following, where they are, who they are, how they are, and why they are. You know,
I need
basic stuff.
I need
Batman
you to
stuff.
an insight check, if you please.
Insight. I'm pretty good with insight. Inciting violence, for instance.
You are on a roll today.
It's the
I had
horns.
time to prepare.
Just been writing puns.
A long list of possible puns.
God, help us all.
22.
22. You realize that there is a... At first you dismissed her because it didn't make sense. But there's a little old woman who's gathering firewood, kindling, as she's sort of going about. She stops at nearby trees and picks up things. And you can see the trees have all been labeled with a white X, which you assume means that they're safe to pick up kindling from.
Because no murder trees. Yeah.
Right. But you realize after a while that she, gosh dagnabbit, just seems to be following very much the same course that Jorek is taking as he's making his way back to the hotel. And every now and again, she finds a tree, and mysteriously her bundle of kindling gets smaller as she steps out from behind it and continues to then go foraging for more twigs and things.
Okay, and is this just her, the one person, or are they kind of doing this in the sense of, okay, this is my kind of quarter, and then the next one takes over?
No, it does seem to be just her specifically. It's not a big enough town necessarily to warrant that. Okay. You are aware behind you, simply because he can't see you, but he can see Jorek. Lingering in the background is Sasha, who seems to wait for Jorek to go around the corner, and then he sort of scuttles up against the wall and sort of loiters a little bit and then scuttles forward again. You don't get the impression that he's following Jorek. You get the impression that he's waiting for Jorek to go somewhere and keeps getting frustrated that Jorek seems to be going exactly where he doesn't want him to go.
Right.
I'm just going home.
Yeah, but he wants you to convey with your
conspirators.
Conspirators, exactly.
Conspirators, yes.
Well, they are in the inn.
All right, so that is the dance that is going on.
So the one thing that I would like to check is the notes that she leaves behind.
The notes that who leaves behind?
The old lady with the...
no, all that she's doing is she's gathering up bundles of kindling.
Yes.
And then she gets to a tree, and she hides behind the tree, and she basically just dumps the kindling, steps out with a few little... So in other words, she can carry on her ruse of just collecting kindling.
Yeah, okay. So she's not actually leaving, she's just...
No, you get behind one of the first trees. Yeah, and you can see that there's a bundle of kindling sort of set.
Okay. Yeah, and since she's just following Jorek, I will just like keep an eye on her and kind of see that nothing happens.
Sure.
And once Jorek arrives, I will try to keep her company.
Oh, see where she goes?
Yeah, if she meets up with Sasha and talks with him and what they talk about.
Okay.
Just want to know the shtick.
Sure. So you're going to be busy sort of doing that. She watches as Jorek walks inside the tavern, and you can see that she sort of picks up some kindling and sort of snaps it for a little bit and watches a little bit, and then this rather old wagon, very, very not suspicious, painted completely black, wheels itself into position on the opposite street, opposite from the inn itself. And she goes up to the wagon with her bundle of kindling, and she sort of knocks on the door. And there's a brief exchange between someone who's inside the wagon and herself. And then she basically takes the kindling, dumps it in the river nearby, and just walks back off wherever it is that she's going.
She just tells him he came out there at that point and they went there. Is that just it?
Yes, correct. You then see then you see a rather curious thing. Sasha has been loitering just outside of range of the tavern, but again, he's not being very subtle about his movements, so it's not difficult for you to follow him. So he then sees Jorek going inside the inn. He waits for a while. You sort of see him trying to see through the rather misty old mucky windows, waiting to see what Jorek does. Jorek, you enter the inn. The barkeep looks you up and down. The rooms will not be available from tomorrow. There is maintenance that will be conducted. You must leave by tomorrow.
Didn't you pay for 4 days or something?
Yes, we did pay for 4 days.
You can stay in the room if you like, but we're tearing off the roof and the walls and the doors and the floor, so you will be difficult to sleep.
Well, then, I want a refund.
Yes, we will give you back your money.
Very good. I'm gonna go up and get my stuff, and I walk up to my room, or to the room.
The room. The moment Sasha sees Jorek sort of disappearing upstairs, he basically rushes for the innkeeper's door. However, about 3 seconds later, another woman collecting kindling comes wandering past, and she looks as if she's following Sasha, because she then watches Sasha going into the room, and she then ducks around to the left alleyway. She doesn't seem to be going anywhere near the black van whatsoever.
Yeah. But I'll follow Sasha.
Sasha goes, he sort of loiters at the door, and then he goes inside. The kindling lady sort of is now...
Yeah, I want to know what Sasha's doing.
Sure.
Like if he's searching for his book and whatnot.
That's exactly what he's doing. He walks in. Yeah. You can see through the windows that he's obviously questioning the barkeeper with giant hand gestures of frustration. And then both of them are scouring the room, looking frantically for the thing.
Okay, so what I will do is I want to know I will go halfway up the stairs.
Sure.
Inside, halfway up the stairs. And if they start to move up the stairs, I will be there a little bit before and like kind of kick the door. Like if they kind of get into earshot of what's inside the room.
Kind of what's going on. Sure, absolutely. That's what you're doing. Sekhet, the Duke, is sitting at the table, bored out of his mind, whilst you and Svetkanaski and everybody else at Natashatsky are all busy talking about the appropriate color for the wedding dresses that you will all be wearing. Mm-hmm. And after a while, there's a sort of knocking on the door, and the Duke says, "Finally, come. Please be some kind of holy cleric coming to try and destroy us. Anything to end this painful suffering." The doors open, and one of the stewards steps forward and says, "Your guests have arrived, my lord." And he bows very low. And striding into the room, you can see this very tall-looking, very cadaverous-looking human, very old sort of fellow. And next to him is this fairly short, fairly tubby-looking gnome. And they come in. The tall, cadaverous fellow appears to be wearing a military uniform of some kind, but it certainly doesn't seem anything that you know of. Give me a history check, if you wouldn't mind, Sekhet.
Ooh, history check. Ooh, I haven't done one of those in a while. Ever. Exciting stuff. No, wrong dice. Oh god. Oh god. There it is. Right. Oh, that went appallingly. Oh, even worse. So 8.
Hey, you don't recognize the uniform. You don't recognize the individual at all. The individual doesn't seem to recognize you very much. And the Duke rises and he says, I am so very pleased that you could make it to our humble establishment here, General. He sort of looks around the table and he says, I do not wish to waste your time introducing these individuals sitting at this table this evening. We will participate in food, which is much more pleasant than what is currently here. He sort of says, looking from you to his son to everyone else except for Miran. He takes a seat. There's a special seat that's brought forward for the halfling who climbs into the seat. The halfling kind of scans around the room. He sees you, and a grin sort of spreads across his rather pudgy features. And he leans forward and he says, what a pleasant surprise to find someone so charming as yourself here. What brings us a jetty all the way here? I thought that there was a bit of tension, if you don't mind me saying. He says, looking from you to the Count to the General, who's this old man sitting next to him. The General sort of looks at you, looks over at the Count. Yes, what's up with the Sejet being here? I thought this was... I'm confused, Duke. Or is it some kind of mask?
No, not a mask. It's a love affair of note. Maybe it'll bring the two countries together in some way.
That will be enough, says the Duke from the head of the table. Luca kind of taps you on the thigh underneath the table. Yeah, you can give me an insight check, please.
Oh, yes, because that always goes so well. Although it might do.
It's a giant red sign blinking somewhere.
Touchy subject!
17.
You get the sense that Luca has realized that this might be a dangerous situation to try and play that card. The tapping is a frantic kind of badges. is kind of what's going through his head. Yeah, so that's what you're kind of getting from under the table.
Okay, so dinner. What's for dinner?
Yes. What is for dinner? For once, I agree with this person. The steward starts to bring food around, and the halfling turns his attention back to you because, well, this is clearly a point of delight.
Oh, no.
So, let me get this straight. You are romantically involved with, and then he looks at Luca and his grin gets even bigger, with your son, he says, then looking at Duke Olkov.
Well,
If there was a thundercloud, it would now be sitting over Duke Olkov's brow as he sort of mumbles, bring wine. Yes, anyway, the halfling then, well, if you get tired of, shall we say, the company, you're more than welcome to join me in my room. No offense, he says, looking around the table, but sometimes the dead can be a bit chilly, if you know what I mean.
I thought they were undead. I mean, just as a point of, political correctness and all that stuff.
They prefer life challenged.
Yeah.
Says Natashatsky from the other side of the table. So yes, the dinner is going swimmingly well as this whole thing is sort of melting into this wonderful disaster of not wanting to be in the same room as everybody else. What does happen, however, the old human seems to he's not entirely present. He reminds you of any one of the grand generals or admirals that once sort of frequented the halls where you are familiar with. They are there because they've been there for more than 200 years or so and are afforded the title, but they really should have stepped down a long time ago. This bloke looks as if he should have stepped down about 50 or 60 years ago. And he stares at the Duke, and as the soup is busy being served, he suddenly looks up and he says, I don't like it. I don't like it at all, Duke. I thought that this was supposed to be all just hush-hush. Now we've got... And he looks at you, and then he looks at Miran, and then he looks at Luca. All these other sodding people involved. It's not on. It's not on at all, Duke. This is not what we agreed to.
What did you agree to?
The Duke slams his hand on the table, trying to bring order, and he says, General Raedion, you are not in a position to complain about changing deals. We were never meant to be contacted directly by the gnomes either. If you recall, our agreement was strictly a financial support, yes, in exchange for certain services. So, we are all here against our wishes. Some are here against my wishes. But now is not the right time to talk. We will rejoin later on where we can continue our discussions.
I turn to the gnome and I'm like, so should we have cake in your room after? I feel cake is a good thing.
His spoon flicks over his shoulder as he nervously twitches at the idea of cake after dinner. And there's another frantic patting from Luca. This time the message he's trying to send is, what? WTF?
You're welcome to join us, of course, Luca. But I would like to take Lady Miran for cake anyway, and since the halfling is so accommodating...
No more halfling now.
I'm sorry, gnome, halfling?
Yeah, same thing.
Vertically challenged young man. We can discuss dresses and cake, and he can provide cake. Yes? Cake's always good.
Yes. Well, he quite happily agrees. Miran doesn't say anything, and the Duke is kind of happy that the conversation is going away from anywhere where it seemed to have been going. Let it sort of slide. And yes, dinner continues in that very strained kind of way, with Radian every now and again sort of complaining about things and mumbling to himself, but no one really pays him much attention. Jorek, you arrive back in the inn. Well, you arrive in the room, I should say, to find Con and Adru'sai having a look at some rather interesting and anatomical illustrations of things.
I do my best vampire impersonation and say, good evening.
Ah! Jorek, are you all right?
I'm fine, yes.
Niet.
Yeah.
Good. I have come to suck your... No.
I come to suck your blood.
Jorek, stop
Get to
funny.
be in one piece.
Sorry, what, Con?
No bits missing. They didn't stick any rods into you.
Con!
What? You should see this stuff. Your friends are rather...
I'd rather not. Either way, I'm fine. Con, you need to think of an alter ego, a reason to be here. Because the secret police wants to know who you are. And I need to report to them who you are. So come up with something.
Fantastic.
Can I ask, in these notes on us, what do they say that we are? Do they seem to buy into the excuse, or are they just like, we don't know who these fuckers are, but they're definitely not traders?
Definitely, they indicate that you are to be watched and observed. You were noted coming out of the Musha Bog, accompanied by several of the Count's children, which their names are scratched out. He obviously realized that was illegal for him to note the movements of the Count or his children, but there's question marks everywhere. This individual clearly believes that circling something and then putting 3 question marks next to it will help him figure out stuff later on.
Yes, man of my own methods. I see.
So what
they
are you
don't-
reading?
Yeah, they definitely don't believe that Jorek is a trader of any kind whatsoever. They did not believe that Sekhet was a slave, owing to the fact that when she dealt with the tailor upon questioning had revealed that she was in command of the entire experience. There was no reservation whatsoever.
Yes, we were a little too buddy, I think, as well.
At the moment, the only thing that's still left in the air is the association of Atramentum to you, because it's been maintained that there isn't a relationship necessarily,
Yes.
other than coincidental arriving at the same time at the bog disaster. So yes, just lots of notes, lots of questions. There's a request form in there as well. The request form is for at least 5 additional operatives to be brought in to continue surveillance efficiently. And the reason for it is foreigners invading, danger, Ulkov under attack.
Obviously.
Something subtle.
Do they, as a sign up, do they seem to know, have figured out that I can do magic, or do they just see me as some kind of incompetent secretary?
Yeah, at the moment, everything is...
I led you to the swamp!
Yeah, at the moment, everything is up in the air. They have noted that you are probably the plaything of Jorek, and that he has simply kept that on the down low. The scout thing, it's like, you notice you're in a swamp when you start sinking. You somehow got 20 miles before realizing that fact. Not gonna hold.
No, but they don't seem to have gotten on that I know magic, at least.
No, nothing of that.
All right. Well, we're reading what I think is a present from Atramentum.
Mm-hmm.
It mysteriously appeared in my bag. It's from your friends that you were to visit right now.
Oh, the Kajah Bah.
Yeah, I think so. It has a lot of torture notes and lots of question marks about who we are.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to go well, but so far we're alive and free.
Yeah, they don't
So
seem
that's
to...
better than expected.
Yes, they don't buy the merchant thing, and they're a little confused about the swamp, but I think they don't know anything, really.
No, the Kajah Bah never knows anything and everything at the same time. So, Khan, I will need your cover or whatever to deliver to them. And then I'm going to have to go and make this ruse work and find some ironwood.
Ironwood?
Yes, that's why I'm here.
Oh, of course. Yes. Sorry.
Can you please not forget that?
No, I'm with you. I'm a little distracted by this one picture. It's graphic, and I'm not sure what exactly the purpose of it is.
Probably some form of torture.
Pain, but I'm not sure.
It's fairly reasonable to assume it's a torture manual. In keeping with the general style of this place.
People of my trade are offended by such notions. We say it's it's a manual to extract information.
Yes. Right. Well, if I've finished looking at everything, I think we should probably burn this before it's found in our room.
That's probably not a bad idea. So
I think we should have some fun with our little friends.
Uh-huh.
To tell them that I am a operative of a secret cabal here to cause chaos ahead of a Sejet invasion.
Oh, goodness.
Are you sure you want me to tell them that? All right.
Okay.
A secret Sejet operative meant to cause chaos.
They had a lot of Sejet in their dungeons already. And very...
How do you know that?
Magic.
Oh, of course. Handy, that.
It's very handy.
Oh.
And a Graith. couple of very sickly-looking Wraith, Con.
Oh,
Yes, very sickly, mangy patches of fur missing.
and they have this plague, don't they?
Yes, and they're here somehow. I don't know why. I mean, if they're with the Sejati, possibly.
This is a long way from the great
We
homeland.
can assume that Ulkov and his fellow dukes probably have their fingers in all sorts of things we're not fully aware of yet. But that's
Yes.
fine. We'll ruin it all for them along the way, I'm sure. Or die.
Atramentum,
I'm to meet the secret police tomorrow at noon.
Yes, I think if I can get their full attention, that can't be a bad thing.
Well, if you want to be a secret spy person, do you want these papers to plant them somewhere funny, or...
That's devious. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
I
a
mean,
lot.
if you're a secret spy, it makes sense that you were the one who took them, and it kind of takes the heat off of me.
Yes, he is the secret spy.
Yes, take him now. He has your papers.
Yeah, I'll take them.
All right. Enjoy.
all right. Well, Atramentum, as that's going on behind you, you can hear downstairs. There's a very furtive discussion going on of a very desperate man, and
Sorry, not sorry.
yeah, he eventually you hear him say, "Well, just tell them that you're changing the sheets. I don't care what it is that you are doing. I need to get into that room. If they have those notes, there are all kinds of you. I will burn you to the ground. Just you remember who I am." Then the barkeep responds, "I have already told them they must be leaving by tomorrow morning for renovations." So then you hear, "All right, fine." But then, so that's what you three hear on the door outside.
I step out just to look who's knocking on the door, and then I realize no one is knocking on the door, and I hear the stairs, I suppose.
Do you materialize, Etra, or you? No.
Right. I think I hastily sort of take out some other book with numbers in it and just go, yes, discussing things,
Numbers, things.
numbers.
As I step out into the
This one's a 5.
As I step out into the corridor, I fling a psychic message back to Adru'sai. Can you make that thing invisible? If so, do it.
That's what you get. You see the barkeep jumping up the stairs. He sees you.
So when he opens the door,
Yeah.
I assume, since he's
Yeah.
stepping up the stairs, can I just push myself past him?
Past the
Jorek.
Into the room. Yeah. I'm stepping out into the corridor.
Okay, I go then inside the room, and I just snatch the paper, and it becomes invisible because I have it now.
We took it.
I gave it to Con.
It's in my bag.
Okay, so
What? No, I was gonna get up.
because Adru'sai just said like she takes it like puts another book over it. That's why.
No, I gave it to Con first, and then I take out.
Okay.
No,
okay, then I go inside the room and see if.
As soon as I get
I don't see
Jorek's message, I want to get up and I cast invisibility on that thing, meaning Con.
Good, that's fine.
Con, you.
No, there's 2 invisible people in there.
It's like you hear like hilarious like crunk out to people.
Well, either that or as you look around the room, it's like, are those corners shimmering? Because damn it, when I look in that corner, there's like this thing happening. When I look in that corner, there's this thing happening. Anyway, all right.
I feel like someone is watching me.
Exactly.
Okay, so I step inside and see if I find the book because kind of that's my main. I don't want to incriminate them by giving them the book. Right? That was not my intention, even though it would be up my end.
So
Yeah, I am heading towards the stairs, so I look like I'm leaving.
sure.
When,
The barkeep
when the
looks up at you.
barkeep comes up.
Apologies, there is a gas leak. In the room. I must search this.
What is this building made of?
Wood.
Wood.
All wood.
The ground floor is stone, but the upper level is wood with a bit of more plaster over it. So,
All
I
right.
assume I would be aware of being turned invisible.
yes.
I mean,
Yes.
Yeah, your hands disappear.
Like,
It's
guys,
unsettling.
either I'm having a stroke or someone's turned invisible.
and also
Yes.
she needs to kind of speak and give and
Yes, it could be that I walked up to you and said a magic word and just touched you on the shoulder.
Could have something to do with it.
Could have something to do with it.
No, I say.
So
well,
you
it's-
lose now your arcane eye, right?
Yes, I do. It's gone because they're both concentration.
Yeah.
Yeah, feel free to look through the room. I'm heading out for work. It's just my accountant here, so.
You are leaving for work tonight.
Yes, I am a trader. Where do you think I find the customers and people to buy from? Taverns?
You should not leave now. Do not. These stairs are broken. You must go backstairs. He rolled an
This
natural
guy's
This is ridiculousness.
Guy, this guy's
My way
life
past him.
expectancy is shorter to get short right now.
Exactly right. Exactly right. He rolled a natural one, so he
Oh,
is
no.
now, he is one of those people who's like, you can't go down there because down there is someone who told me to come up here and search your room, and he does not want you to know that he's down there because if he does, then I'm in trouble. So you
Oh, it's me.
backstairs.
Yeah, this is ridiculous, I say, and I push him aside and walk down the stairs.
There is no liability if you fall. He shouts after you as you start walking down.
Roll a dexterity save.
Yeah, because the stairs
The
are.
stairs were broken!
So yes, you start going down. Give me a perception check, if you please. Con, what are you doing whilst this is going on outside?
Is the door still open?
I didn't close it.
Yeah, no one's closing.
22.
And I quietly slip out into the corridor, move further along, down, away from the door.
Okay, I'll give you the baton and just stay inside the room and search for the fucking papers. If I didn't see him turning invisible. I don't know if that happened like in one go or not. That's up to you.
Yeah, it was all sort of a blur of a bit of a mess. You probably don't know where Con is at the moment. Well, you definitely don't know where he is at the moment. All right, so Con, as you're stepping through, you see the innkeeper sort of looking down the stairs like someone expecting an explosion to go off or something, waiting, not hearing it. Jorek, you hear some very heavy breathing coming from behind the bar, but otherwise you don't see anyone in the room.
Heavy breathing.
Yeah.
Don't look.
I'm gonna have just just peek over.
You
Order a drink.
You peek over, and there is an old tarpaulin that is very mysteriously sasha-shaped around the back of the bar. Breathing as
One of
quiet
these idiots.
as possibly can. Not moving.
Well, it's nice to see you again. I will have your message tomorrow, or the information you required tomorrow. Have a nice evening, and I walk out.
He has the dignity not to reply. Or the indignity. I don't know which one it is exactly this present moment in time.
You could at least order to drink.
Yeah.
While you're in there, can you get me a mead?
So you've headed out into the cold. The barkeep kind of waits. There's no other sound. So then he steps up to the door. He looks in. He only sees you, Adru'sai, and he says,
What? I'm busy. There's a 5 here.
you see a satchel that is not yours here?
Yeah. There
Oh,
are other
indeed.
people in this group. My boss's satchel is here. The slave satchel is here. Did you want anything? I'm really busy.
I just look for...
What?
I look for satchel. Satchel, you let me look satchel, yes?
Fine. Fine, just be really quiet.
He quietly rummages through the satchels. He doesn't see anything particular. He sees all sorts of things, but none of them match the recommendation of what he
The
should be
book.
looking for.
Yeah, not
So-
the papers.
He-
Every time he does any kind of noise, like the floor creaks or anything, I just go, shh.
quietly. He's in a very delicate situation right now. He's going to go and get very drunk.
I'm enjoying this.
Connor, are you going to do anything? You're down the corridor. You can see. And
I go to see if this back stairway actually exists.
It is a very rickety back staircase. You in the golden age of this tavern, it was probably the service stairs that the
There was a golden age of this tavern?
Back in the time of the dragons.
pretty much when it was built. Time of the dragons type of thing. So there's a rickety door which on it says staff only, but there's a clear staircase going down the back to the lower part of the tavern.
Okay, well, I'm just going to hang about and wait to see what happens, and wait till hopefully the tavern keeper wanders off, having not found anything.
Yeah, he doesn't find anything, and eventually he says, "Sorry for bothering you." And he moves quite quickly down the stairs. You then hear is very, Sasha, Sasha, and then there's some muttering going on, and
Shut up, you idiot!
there's a conversation that sort of happens. It plays out sort of beyond earshot, and then there's.
Did he close the door?
As he left, no, he didn't touch anything. He's not.
I will then close the door.
All right, then you see the door.
Thank you, mysterious wind.
After I'm sure that he doesn't see the door anymore.
Oh, sure,
right?
sure. Yeah. No, he's definitely down the staircase for sure.
Oh, this is very high-tech. Very nice.
Thank you, mysterious indoor wind.
So that's what's going on.
For all you know, it's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Sekhet, the dinner eventually comes to an end. Thankfully, everyone stands up looking incredibly relieved. The halfling looks at you and says, "So, about that cake you were talking about, I'm sure you don't need me this evening, do you, Count?" And Duke Olkov looks at him and says, "It is Duke Olkov. No, we do not need you this evening. The General and I will handle affairs." Fine. So, if I might entertain the lovely ladies, you'll come with me, eh?
Yes, Lady Miran, you will join me. It'll be a lovely cake, I'm sure. And we could all do a cake, can't we? I mean, you can't buy happiness, but you can have cake, and that's almost the same thing.
Miran does not seem to share your enthusiasm for cake, but at the same time, she is just kind of going along. There doesn't seem to be much point in refusing at this present time. And soon you find yourselves in a private chamber. Luca has made an excuse that he has to
brush his teeth.
Yeah, he's sort of extracted himself from it. The two sisters have gone off to go and try and find different or choose different fabric based on your suggestion. So you are left alone with the halfling. With the gnome. Why do I keep calling him a halfling? He's a gnome. With the gnome, you've got me doing it now. With the gnome and with Miran. The gnome, of course, is sitting on a sort of a chaise lounge type thing, and super excited to cake. The servants are trying to rustle up cake and tea and that sort of thing. But you have prepped them previously to be ready for these kinds of odd requests that they have.
So, gnomes in Drakenmooore. That's an interesting one.
Oh, it's business all the way. Don't you worry your little self about that whatsoever.
Oh, well, do tell me more. I love business. I mean, it's always very intriguing what people are up to. Isn't it, Miran? Like your brother. He's up to some interesting things, isn't he?
Miran kind of looks at you with this deer in the headlights kind of expression. The gnome looks, is this your brother also in business, Lady Miran? And she doesn't really know what to say. She starts stammering. I'm not sure what my brother is doing. You have news, Lady Sekhet?
Oh, I have lots of news for you. We really ought to chat over some cake.
I have asked them to bring some, and well, you know what they like in these drafty old castles.
Why don't you go chase them up? Because I don't think that just the lemon poppy seed cake will do. I really think there should be some chocolate or even red velvet cake. I really am quite partial to red velvet cake. Maybe you could run along and tell them that I like red velvet cake, because red velvet cake is a wonderful thing. It's chocolate, which is an aphrodisiac, did you know?
His smile seems to broaden wider than his moustache, and he jumps off and sort of toddles over to the door. He opens the door. One of the stewards sort of steps forward, and he starts ordering chocolate cake, all the chocolate cake.
While he's sort of distracted, I turn to Miran and say, your brother's here, very quietly. Your brother's here to rescue you.
What is he doing? Why? How did he even know what was going on? And why did he must hate me?
No, he's just a little bit partially worried, and now he's dragged us all along to come and rescue you, which is why I'm stuck in this castle with you right now.
Miran's like, what? Last I saw him, he was insane.
Then you must leave immediately.
No, I'm stuck here now, so you and I will leave together. After the chocolate cake.
But Duke Olkov will not allow me to leave, and if my brother is here, or if he has roped in you to help, I could not...
It's not just me.
If...
It's not just me, dear.
I'm not entangled in his shenanigans. I want to make this very clear.
I have nothing to do with this.
But I couldn't bear it if anyone were to die at the hands of the Duke because of me.
Yeah.
Well, well, let's all try and avoid that, because I don't particularly want to die either. I'm quite good at not dying.
Is he in the castle?
No, he's trading in ironwood, if anyone asks.
So what's the plan then? You know that I'm marrying the Count during the festival of Tomadansk.
Which is like 3 days from now, right? I think it was.
Well, let's hope that he comes up with a really decent plan before then, because so far he's sold me to Luca as a slave, and I'm still not impressed. But otherwise, he's doing really, really well.
You're not painting a pretty picture.
Who's doing well, says the gnome as he comes waddling back. I've ordered all the cake.
Good. I love a bit of cake. Let's all just eat cake. So, who is doing really, really well? Luke is doing really, really well. And so is the Duke, don't you think?
Well, that's boring talk. Let's talk more about aphrodisiacs.
Oh, I know lots of aphrodisiacs. There's oysters, supposedly leeks, and even apparently garlic at times. But I haven't worked that one out. Have you worked that one out? I don't think you can get garlic
You
here.
don't want to be going about using that around here, let me tell you.
Well, exactly. I haven't seen any garlic, which is like, for a Sejet, quite depressing.
It's more of a cultural thing than anything else. They're not partial to.
Partial. No, I've noticed. Or silver, I've noticed, which is also
Well, that's
quite...
illegal around here, which is pretty good for us, as a matter of fact. But not if you live here. So you and Luca are an item, is that right?
Well, yes, but then again, the Duke is marrying Miran here.
Hey, but Miran, you're from here, are you not? Miran sort of nods sullenly. There's a disconnect in terms of you and Luca. I mean, how did you meet? Was he accidentally one day out strolling in the middle of the bright sunlit desert? And
Almost in the swamp.
oh, you met in a swamp. Well, that's
I know. It's quite
How romantic!
I know. It's just weird, isn't it? And like, bam, that was it.
Likes to take strolls in the evening through the swamp.
Is the swamp just Drakenmooore and Tinder? Is it just like to go there if you're looking for?
Slash left or slash right. Slash left or slash right, right?
Yeah.
Well, I personally cannot wait to be done with what I have to do here and then go back to...
And what are you doing here? You haven't really elaborated.
No, it's not really important. You don't need to know. It's all very...
It is, because it involves money. Money's always important.
It does to a certain degree. I'm here as a trader. I'm trading in ironwood. It's very valuable.
How interesting. The man who the man who introduced me to Luca is also an ironwood trader. His name, well, you can't miss him. He's from Drakenmooore, and he wears very flamboyant clothing.
You say he's an ironwood trader?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't happen to know how much supplies he might have?
I suspect by now he may have found some, because he needed to.
That's very interesting. Do you think you might be able to make an arranged meeting with this ironwood?
I think we'd all love you to meet this person. And Miran, you can help me. I think you'll also be delighted to meet this person. And you speak Drakenmoorean far better than I do.
Oh, he's from Drakenmooore, is he?
Yes, yes.
Do you know if he's from this dukedom, or is he independent, perhaps, by chance? Maybe a small miracle?
I think you could say it's a bit of both, but not exactly from Drakenmooore. He's more of a citizen of the world these days because of his trading. I think he said he was from, I think his name is Ambar of Kotu. Correctly.
I can't say I'm familiar with that, but I'd love to meet Ambar tomorrow if that's a possibility.
I'm sure we'd all love that. Don't you think, Miran? That would be a lovely thing to do on an excursion out for some tea. Tea's always good, isn't it? Kicking.
Miran looks at you and she sort of mumbles, "I'm not allowed out of the castle, I'm afraid."
You're not allowed out of the castle, not even with, me and a whole load of guards. I'm sure the Duke would love to see me step out of the castle.
Yes, get out, whatever.
I'll ask the Duke on your behalf. How about that?
That sounds a great idea.
Brides to be to a day out in the sunlight.
And there's a lovely tailor in town that I really feel Miran and I ought to visit as well, so we can have a whole shopping trip.
All right, I'll go and impress us upon the Duke. You stay here and wait for that cake, and when it arrives, when I come back, I expect you to be covered in cake. Oh yes.
I'm sure you'd like that. You did get the red velvet, right?
I just told him cake, all the cake, chocolate cake. You said it was chocolate. Chocolate was important.
Yes, okay.
He slips out of the door and disappears down the passageway. You hear the sort of running boots.
You have the worst luck with men, Sekhet.
I know.
But she gets all of them. So
yeah, every lecherous creep in the world just magnetizes.
Back to the four of you. Are you going to be doing anything for the remainder of the evening, or are you going to bunker down for the morning?
Yes, I'm going to actually do what I said I was going to do. I'm going to scour the taverns, bars, and inns and looking for people who is interested in trading ironwood in order to keep up my pretenses.
So that's what you're doing, Adru'sai?
Yes. I actually want to do a couple of things. First off, I need to do something I've forgotten, which is cast sending to Vis. I'm a little late on that one, actually.
Right.
I was like, no, I'm going to do it 1 week exactly. And then we're just like,
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to cast sending. I'm going to send a message that I've prepared.
All right. I'll come back to you on that one, on what it is exactly. Con, what are you doing?
I'm going to lie low for the evening. I have plans for the morning.
So do you come back into the room then, or?
Yeah, eventually.
You have an hour of invisibility if you want to do anything with that.
No. Thank you.
All right, so you're going to come back in.
Con has to plan his invasion.
Yes.
It's okay. Chocolate.
Gimme.
Atra, what are you doing?
Well, I'm in the room basically waiting for something to happen and waiting for them together.
Sure.
And if Jorek is leaving, I'm not going to be his angel of death watching over him.
You'll leave that to the twig lady. All right.
Well, he can have his own bag if he wanders out on his own.
Sure.
I do that as well. But I'm basically waiting for them to return. If and when Con would then come back, and I would notice this, presumably because the door opens and no one steps in and the door closes.
Right.
I would like to talk to them.
Sure.
And speak a little bit about shop and kind of convey information. I don't really want to go into all information that I learned and they learned. I just assume we share that for brevity's sake, I guess. Yeah. And basically would like to inquire what you guys have planned while being invisibly and making sure that they don't name my name anymore.
Think of me as the wall.
Yes, I just talking out loud, musing to myself.
I don't know if Con is invisible at this point again or not. Like that's in the end it's
kind of actual, right?
I mean, you just need to do it. You're invisible. You just cast something, or you just tell her that make me invisible.
Hit a wall.
I actually think you could as well. I don't know, but I mean, there are ways to stop.
I quietly come in, sit down in a rocking chair next to the fire, and make the rocking chair.
The rocking chair's like, creak.
That is really creepy.
I mean, you just need to stop the invisibility.
All right, yes.
I think we should work on our creative approaches. All this sort of thing could be useful at some point.
Could be. And when Adru'sai drops invisibility and the chair remains rocking and no one is revealed.
Ah!
Con in the corner with a piece of twine. Like,
Damn you!
Gotcha!
That was really good, and I hate you now.
All right, so the three of you are going to have a brief conversation before.
I think, so plan-wise, we need to know what's going on with Sekhet.
Yes, I was going to go.
Has she found Miriam?
But the arcane spell got cancelled because of invisibility. I was going to have a nap and then try to cast it again and find her. But I need to cast this sending first. But I'll find her. I'll
Boots
go
can
look
wait. Boots can wait.
Boots?
Yes.
Oh, boots.
What?
Snake boots.
Oh.
Snake skin boots.
Oh. Right.
Contact Sekhet, I think.
Yes, well, I'm going to need a nap first.
Okay.
So what do we want to do? What do you want to do in the long run? If we want to kind of coordinate in our different goals and whatnot, I think we should share a little bit of information. Where the hell is Jorek?
I think he went to buy wood. What is your goal? We're here to rescue Jorek's sister. I imagine you have ulterior motives for being here.
Well, I partially feel inclined to help him, but it also, I will not lie, it will also coincide with my own interests.
Is that something we can help you with, since we're here?
Well, you see, I see myself sometimes as an arsonist.
Mm-hmm.
And right now I'm looking for sparks that could light a fire.
Well, with our plans, it's probably going to cause a lot of sparks.
Yeah, we have a habit of...
We have a habit of things falling down and burning after we come into town.
Yes, and... Well... I would like to speak to these children of the Duke again.
They're probably out flying.
Well, I don't know where they are right now, obviously, but I know that they will be attending the ceremony in 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
And my goal here is, well, as I said, to create a little bit of fun. And I need to know where the children stand towards their own family, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
So you were quite apt in scouting out the castle, and you don't even need to be there, which is something
It's a lot less risky.
I will admit I'm envious of. But, well, and I kind of tell her what I kind of found, right? Basically, like the ceiling, the palantir and the top, and yada, yada, yada.
Very interesting.
But I didn't had any chances to see what the Duke is about, what his children are about. I try to stay out of sight. You never know with these kinds of...
Yes, I think there were further sub-basements, which is where I imagine they would be living. But...
True that the levels that I saw were quite uninhabited. Seems almost like a charade. Make it looked like it was inhabited.
Yes.
Do you know what this artifact in the attic might have been?
From his description, Guy, do I have an idea?
Palantir. That's what it looked like, right?
I
Yeah.
can make an arcana check?
Yes.
Yes. No. That is 18.
Something's got to be maintained in the fog. It's not a bad place for whatever it is to be based.
Yes, but
Really?
it doesn't sound like a communication thing to me. It sounds like some other focus.
That's interesting.
Yes, it's
So your guess is it's possibly for the fog,
Mhm.
or for the clouds or whatever it is.
I
Yes.
feel this incredible urge to break it now.
Well, that would have been my next question. Any idea how to destroy an arcane artifact? Usually, they are somewhat resilient to brute strength.
True.
I heard of a dwarf once who broke his axe on a ring.
Oh yes, that old story. Magical weapons are usually useful. I have ways of imbuing a weapon with magic for a short amount of time, which might do the trick, I believe, Guy.
It depends on the artifact. Some artifacts you can just drop them; they'll crack open, and that's it. Some artifacts you have heard that have been hit by hammers of famous smiths tend to explode because of the massive amounts of magical energy inside of them. There's not a lot of them around. Octrelicar individuals would know much more about disposal of artifacts than you lot. If you recall your training, basically, if you found an ancient artifact, it was to be reported to the Octrelicar and then handed over to them for disposal. So you weren't really given a huge amount of education on destroying them.
Yeah.
Do you voice this?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I tell you about the possible explosion and the...
Could you ask one of these Octrelica personnel?
They're not around anymore, unfortunately. I mean, I've met one I could try sending, but
It's not.
if they're still alive, I'm not sure.
Operationally, it's not safe.
Mm-hmm.
So our little group.
Like, if I could investigate it, I could tell you more exactly. But, I mean, did it look like it was held down somehow?
If I remember, it was literally like a palantir, right? Like on a podest or some sort, like...
Yes, well, if
You can
you...
always start with kicking it off its pedestal.
Yes, throwing it out the window could work.
Just like...
You like to start fires and cause chaos? Let's chuck it out the window and see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, and then follow it down, and if that doesn't work...
Later
smash
that night, mushroom cloud outside the castle.
it. Smash it with some magical weapon, or
On the upside, you don't have to
maybe
marry
I
the truth
can
anymore.
figure it out.
Well, I am not as versed in the arcane arts as you are, so...
So the local secret police are all over us.
But they are idiots.
Yes, of course they are, which is why I intend to distract them.
How?
They're about tomorrow. They'll find out that I am here to undermine things as a
You
precursor.
do
to
know that they will
invasion.
start to hunt you then, right?
Yes, that is the point.
Okay,
No,
if they
all their
catch you, I
attention-
will not help you.
That's
They don't know he can turn into,
yes.
A weasel, yes.
I'm not too concerned about that.
Okay, well,
Don't
I
druids have ways of dispelling magic? Have you had any kind of training in that, Con?
Let me consult the tome in my mind, because I'll talk to the trees. Oh wait, no, the trees are not answering at the moment.
they might be.
They're just swearing it to the phone.
I
really.
just keep getting this hungry.
Exactly.
Oh, that's very concerning.
All right. Well, whilst Connor's busy doing that, Jorek, you've kind of gone through several taverns and well, not several. There's only one that's still open, and you need to give me a persuasion check, if you please, to try and elicit some sort of response from the individuals.
18.
They look at you, and several of them sort of point over at one very large-looking individual, and he is introduced to you as Uri, and he looks you up and down. What do you want to know about wood?
Well, you see, I'm here to buy wood. Ironwood.
You and everybody else. There's no more wood. We have sold all of the wood we have in stock. The Duke has taken it all.
The Duke? Why would he take the ironwood from you?
Do I look like someone who cares why people are buying ironwood from me?
Probably not. But you'd imagine he had all the furniture he wants already. So the Duke has all the ironwood then.
He
You
has
have no stocks left.
everything.
Well, I guess I will speak to the Duke then.
Good luck. All of his wood has been shipped off already.
To where?
He looks at his beer mug and then sort of looks away distantly as you can see this beer mug is very empty.
I gesture to the innkeeper, point to his mug. Give him whatever he wants.
The innkeeper fills it up. He looks down at his beer. He looks back at you. It's all gone to Tedlana. Massive amounts of ironwood. I have never had the stores cleared as much. The Duke spent fortune buying this wood.
And he shipped it to Teltana. That's unfortunate.
From Teltana, it's shipped outside, yes.
My plan was to come here and buy the wood before it was shipped out.
You are too late. You will not find any wood in all of Drakenmooore. I have a cousin who is out in the north. He has also had all his supplies taken.
I see. That is unfortunate. But thank you for the information. It was helpful. Now I can at least leave this place. And I reach my hand out in the traditional Drakenmooore greeting to him and thank him for his information.
He takes it and looks at you. Whoever is buying all this wood, you should know that they are going to be building the world's biggest mine that has ever existed. There is no other reason for buying this wood.
It could also be that they're building a fleet, but we'll see. You can reinforce ships with ironwood. It's really, really handy. It's
very slow process too. Better for using mine. Use for wood, you go oak or beech, perhaps. That's all you find out, I'm afraid, in terms of purchasing ironwood.
I head back to the inn.
All right, you're heading back to the inn.
So if he comes back, I would kind of talk the information that I learned, tell him the information too, tell him kind of what I told the others earlier, and get his kind of opinion on things and what he wants to do.
I'm not sure how we are going to get my sister out. The best thing would be if we could get hold of Sekhet. If she's still alive.
I plan to have a bit of a rest and go find them with my arcane eye. But
talk to them? You've done that with other people.
I could. I mean, now that you mention it, I could absolutely do that right now.
That
What
would be
do you
helpful.
want me to say?
Fine, we all right. What's going on?
Well, I would like to know how the children behave to their father. That is that information that I am interested in, but I understand that you...
And we'll see if we can fit it
If
in.
they're anything like other vampires, they are scheming and plotting and are being unruly. That's just the case of vampires. They all want to be the big bad. So the children are constantly
Is
trying
this
to outsmart each other
conjecture or
and
is this known to you?
Sorry, what?
Is this conjecture on your part, or do you know this for a
No,
fact?
this is vampires in general. I cannot speak for this family.
Well, I kind of need to know details if I want to speak to them. Because I have own interests to look after.
Understood. We can probably find that out.
Right. What do I send?
Well,
I can also infiltrate the castle. So if she can tell me how I could meet her, that would also be beneficial. And
Yes.
that is
Find meeting. Oh.
like, because obviously that I didn't know, and as far as I remember, I wasn't in the place that she was in right now. Right? I was in more like vacant spaces while she is in more lived quarters, right? So I don't necessarily know, and I assume there was a reason why it wasn't there.
Perhaps if we can get some sort of indication of where they are, where their rooms are.
Yes.
In the castle.
Like all of them, basically. As much as she knows. I think that...
Try and get her to set up a meeting with Atramentum. That would be the most efficient.
we could also exchange like stuff that if we wanted to do that way.
All right. So whilst you're proposing that, yes, Karen Con.
Otherwise, I will have a nap and prepare for my show.
Nervous laughter from the GM is always good. Right.
Well, I can send, where is your room? Atra can meet. We're all fine. And I have a lot of words spare if you want to say something else.
Well, what's the general situation?
Ah, yes. What's up?
Preparing what would be the best approach, etc., etc.
What's up? How are the kids?
Are you okay?
I mean, if she doesn't answer, we kind of know if she's okay or not.
Yeah, let's not let's say that yet. Is Miran there?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, did you find Miran or whatever? Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna send. Hi, Sekhet. Where is your room? Atra can meet. We're all fine. What's up? How are the kids? Are you okay? Is Miran there?
Please answer in 25 words or less. This is like SMS old school.
Yeah, it really is.
Really is.
Please retweet. PM me.
So, Kit, you are currently elbow deep in chocolate cake. They brought cake and tea and the like. There is no sign of your gnomish host. He has not yet returned from wherever it is that he went off to. When this voice message arrives in your head.
You have new mail.
You have one new message.
Ooh, it's like I'm receiving something. Ooh. Adru'sai, once again asking where. Okay, yes, right. Right. Well, I don't know where our rooms are, so I can't answer that question. Okay, I'm going to send back. All fine. With Miran.
Mm-hmm.
We will meet you tomorrow at Taylor's.
Okay, that's 11 words. You have 12 more. Sorry, 14 more. 25, right?
Mm-hmm. Kids. No, scrap that. Luca, Luca is the one to aim for.
8 more.
Aim for.
Yes.
8 more words.
8 more words. We'll tell all at Taylor's.
Okay.
Oh, I'm getting something. Yes. All fine with Miran. We'll meet you tomorrow at Taylor's. Luca is the one to aim for. Yeah, the Taylor's. We went to the Taylor's earlier. I know which one. We'll tell all at Taylor's.
There's a vaguely chocolatey taste that travels with it.
Yes, I think she's eating cake.
Oh, well.
Well, then she's fine.
Whilst we're all in this flea pit.
I know.
Typical.
Well, to be fair, she is the captor with her life at risk at the insatiable vampire duke's crazy son. So I feel like she's earned a cake.
Fair enough.
Well, at least she's alive and he hasn't eaten her for lunch. Which
Yes, and Miran's alive. That's good to know.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So we would just have to scope out. I mean, Con, you could scope out the Taylors without being conspicuous. Right. I mean, hang out as a bird outside.
I suppose you said what time.
Just tomorrow.
Well, it's not a
She's
big
the
town,
woman.
I
It
guess.
will not be before 3 o'clock in the evening.
Yes, well, it's not a big town. I'm sure I can fit it into my plans.
Schedule.
Schedule.
Well, I mean, I could go hang out at the Taylors as well. I could use some new clothes. I could,
If
stand there with increasingly weird demands.
So things go according to plan. Jorek's going to go deliver his message tomorrow morning.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, everyone's going to be following me.
Hopefully.
Well, they're going to try to kill you.
Oh, that's okay.
I agree.
Well, from what we've seen, they're probably going to try to capture and torture you. But
yes.
By the way, Adru'sai,
yes.
I received news that all the ironwood in the entirety of Drakenmooore has more or less been sold and shipped out already.
Oh.
So we are working...
Sold to who?
We don't know. It's been shipped out. According to the trader, the Duke bought all of his ironwood, shipped it up to Taltana, and sent it out. So someone abroad is buying all the ironwood, which means I don't really have a reason to be here anymore. But this is Drakenmooore, so we can be suspicious, and we can probe and look around for some additional.
I think that they already know that we're not here for trading. So, I mean, an excuse to try to stay for the festival, possibly.
We should try and keep up that pretense a little bit longer, I think.
Oh,
so
yeah, I mean, but we can still
snooping for hidden caches of ironwood.
Yes. That's good.
Yes. Good. I'm gonna go sleep.
Well, maybe don't try to snoop. Try to make a deal for the future. I think that sounds a little bit more believable.
Good work. After snooping.
Do your snooping.
All right.
Exactly.
I want to send that message to Vis.
So before we go to bed, I would like to speak to Adru'sai a little bit and ask her a little bit about her magical capabilities. Specifically, if you can make a place private. Like I don't know if you have like,
unfortunately,
magical mansion or all these kinds of things. But
Sekhet knows how to make the dome thing, but I haven't really gotten into that yet. We've been very busy researching other kinds of magic, but I could definitely look into it.
Well, it might be a little bit long. And the other thing is, if you guys, like how we want to do this, if anything might happen and they cannot come tomorrow, what we will do. Like, do we have plan B? And how could you help with this? Because I can get in and get out, but it might get loud and uncomfortable for, well, hopefully them.
Well, I can make people invisible or fly. I can speak to her again.
So when she says flying, I remember that the thing was in the top floor, right? Was it accessible like at least with force from the outside, like smashing window kind of dealing.
Correct.
Okay, so because if things go down and go dirty, I think plan B is to destroy this thing and hope the sun comes out, because otherwise we're going to have problems with the vampires.
Oh, yes.
And also use that tower as quite a good invasion point, because nobody will be expecting you to come down from there.
That's true.
Well,
and they might well suspect that it's Con doing it, since he's a terrorist running around.
That'd be true, but I would still caution to be careful, because if this is what we think it is also fairly likely that there are some defenses in place to keep meddling with it.
Yes.
One would assume.
I can only make one person at a time fly.
Well,
there is a possibility.
No, actually, I can do it to 2 people at once.
Yeah, you can just use higher.
Yeah.
Because like I depending on how this goes, I don't know if we can do like as one group. I think there might be some splitting going on, which sucks. But I don't know if I would be the right. I mean, I can go up there and just like whatever, right? Because I can go up there at will, basically.
Yes, you don't still have that magical thing that you got for Dengathwin. I mean, since we had to leave in a hurry and everything.
I didn't give it back, and I asked him specifically, and he didn't want it back, so I still have it. Yeah.
Then maybe that could be used to neutralize any kind of magical
for a time. Sure.
And it might even negate the effect of the orb, whatever it is.
At least for a time, yeah. No, that's a good idea.
There is a possibility that there are no defenses. These are vampires, after all.
I mean, it creates a magic. As far as I understand the artifact, at least for a time, it allows you to create an anti-magic zone where all magic kind of stops to work, at least for the time being. So that's a good idea.
If you let me have a look at it, I can figure out exactly what it does and how it works, and we'll know how to plan it properly. Wait, could I do that? Could I take, because if I take it out, wouldn't that negate any kind of identification magic that I tried to use on it?
Yes. So you would need to use your mind to try to identify.
Oh, no.
Not my mind.
No! I've been saving it. No, I could still take a look at it, but it wouldn't be as exact as other artifacts.
As I don't know exactly how it works, and our good friend from Reft's church told me to keep it under lock. I don't know what would happen if it is not under lock for the next for quite a long time. So
true.
I know what it does. I think how it does it is not as important right now.
That's true.
So okay. So if things go bad, and I have a feeling things always go bad, who does the thing then?
Grabbing the thing?
Destroying the orb thing.
Con? You're the more versatile of the 2 of us.
Sure.
Right.
It's easy for me to get there.
Right. Okay. Jorek, you will want to find your sister, I suppose.
Yes, I'm assuming that Sekhet knows where my sister is. And I assume this is going to have to be done stealthily. We can't exactly fight our way into there.
What is it exactly that is stopping us from going up there, smashing the orb, then we tell Sekhet to meet us somewhere where there's a window, then with your sister, and then we all jump out the window and run into the swamp?
Well, the first thing that's going to stop us is it's a castle. They're just going to close the doors and make it hard for us to move around.
Well, we can fly up there and find her if she's near a window.
The second thing is there are a fucking bunch of vampires moving around.
Yeah, well, if we do it in the daytime...
Hey, mist, fog, seen it?
If we smash the orb first...
Well, it's still going to take some time to clear. And they got to know when we do it. I mean, maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Well,
But I'm not kind of willing to just go.
do you think a small localized typhoon might clear the fog out quite quickly?
I say we do it during the wedding ceremony. Maximum chaos.
But there's also maximum vampires at the wedding ceremony.
Yes, it's going to be very difficult to get my.
Why would they do that during the day, though?
Well, I think trying to play the political game seems less risky than just going in guns blazing. So let's try to find out if any of the other vampires around could be used to our benefit. To create a diversion, to create maybe a temporary ally, because they would gain something from the fall, at least in honor, from the Lord of Ulkov and whatnot. And if we have that, maybe they can give us more information of things we don't know. We don't even know if this stupid orb is going to clear the weather. And then we'll be running their guns blazing, and the sun says, well...
I still think we should break it.
Yes, I mean, obviously.
Whatever it's doing, it's not of a benefit to us.
Yes, they like it, so we want it.
Knowing vampires, I would say it's a surveillance tool. Most likely.
Possibly. But then something else is controlling the weather.
Well,
because magic like that doesn't just happen. It needs to be sustained somehow.
Well, yes, but there are two
places.
places.
Sort of depending on finding out what happens next, i.e. will this thing at the tailors actually happen? Will Sekhet be there? Will Miriam be there?
Miran.
Why would she be?
Well, I don't know, but if we need... This is precisely the point. What's going to happen tomorrow at the tailors?
All right, we'll wait for it.
Going to happen?
Talking to Sekhet about this, either way.
I think at least we have like at least spoken about what we plan to do.
Yes.
We have kind of got a rough idea.
I do think that
and plotting.
When we do smash this orb thing or dispel it or whatever we end up doing, we need to do whatever else we want to do quite quickly after that. Sure. Before they manage to re-up the magic.
If Sekhet does manage to get to the tailors, she'll probably be very helpful for your efforts as well, Atra, in terms of giving you what you need to know.
Exactly. There's one thing I would like to ask you to do, however, Adru'sai, before anything goes down.
Yes.
I feel quite uncomfortable trying to infiltrate the military part of the base. Because if something happens to my invisibility, being surrounded by soldiers...
Yes.
Not
very bad.
You, however, don't need to expose yourself to such threats. And if they're already searching for an agent, they probably will try to, well...
Yes, and it is a lot harder to spot a tiny floating eyeball than it is a horned tiefling.
Well, I try my best.
I mean, you are a little bigger than an eyeball. No offense.
Eyeball's been working out.
Oh, yes.
So, I think...
I'd need a nap before I do that again.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about tomorrow.
Yes.
Right.
Were you talking about the military parts of the
cellars?
Castle. Yes, in the cellars. I've been down there already, but
search if there's another smoke generator somewhere I might have missed, right?
Yes, exactly.
All right.
I'll further investigate that place.
Yeah.
Yes. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. We'll talk to Sekhet, and then we'll further plot.
Yep.
All right. So the night is...
I wanted to send a thing to Viz as well. You said you'd be back to it.
Sorry. You have a long night ahead of you.
Yes. I have a long night, and I have so much to do.
I'm one of those cats lying in bed texting until 3 a.m. That's what you...
Yes.
Right.
I'm just lying in bed, just sending off eyeballs, sending messages.
Right. So you're sending to Viz.
Yes, I'm sending my message to Viz that I promised I would several days ago.
Yes.
All right. Sorry for delay. Everyone fine? Quethlan dragon killed in Valenhold. Then Gathwin dead. Was Lich. Avoid Stockstoiver. Kufet hostile. Sunchaser destroyed. Was flying. Be safe, Viz.
Boots.
That's a good message.
Thank you.
Good message.
Right. That's a good message. There we go. Got stuck in Jorek's accent.
2 blue ticks.
Yeah, I didn't get my accent for the first half of the session.
There is this unnatural silence, or just a general silence, You suspect he is busy composing something as well.
So while that happens, I would then leave them and go out into the city and search for, in the outskirts of the city, search for a house that maybe is a little bit on its lonesome and infiltrate it and see if there's only one living person in there. I'm searching for a house that has only one person living in it right now.
Just for one person?
Yes, I'm searching for a loner.
You find
Are
them?
you trying to do the vampire thing?
No, I'm trying to get like a place where they don't know where we are.
Sure. Give me a perception check, please.
Sure. Not deception, perception. 26.
You, in your travels, come across Sasha, who seems to be looking in bushes and around street corners.
Yes.
He is still being followed by the other twig-carrying old man, who is watching what he is doing.
Yes.
But yes, you find a house. The lights are mostly off because it's late night now. But when you sort of peep in through the window, it's definitely only one body in the bed snoring soundly.
Yeah, cool. I assume there are more than one. There's more than one room inside.
Oh yeah. It's a double-story sort of thing, bad condition, fairly ramshackle, but yeah.
I would misty step inside, then lose my invisibility,
Sure.
and then I will, in cold blood, murder this person.
This person dies in warm blood until eventually it cools down. Yes, they are dispatched. It's not difficult to kill them. They didn't expect anything. They didn't offer any resistance at all.
Suddenly tiefling. No one expects the Spanish tiefling.
Spanish assassination. Hola.
Okay, and then I'll start to rest there because I kind of need to sleep.
That's sure, not a problem. So that happens. Yeah. Are you now going to sleep, Adru'sai?
Yeah, sure. I can sleep now.
As you curl up and start dreaming of 9 and other things that go through your mind, there's suddenly a bing!
Ah!
Hispid gnomes investigating pollution. Elves, merfolk, bad. Remains sky found. No Mutaru.
I write it down as I get it and just look at it and go, all right, well, that's not great. And I fall asleep again.
Right. Sekhet, the night passes with cake and tea, and the gnome eventually comes back. And much to your delight, he says, "The Duke is incredibly accommodating. We're going shopping tomorrow, ladies."
Wonderful news. It's bloody late though, isn't it? You were gone a while there.
It wasn't that long. I mean, it was only a few minutes, perhaps. I see you got into their cake.
Yeah, we ate it all and the effects have passed, and now Miran and I are very, very tired. But
Sleepy.
food coma coming on quite badly here. But you say we're going shopping tomorrow, and I feel this will be a huge, huge benefit to all of us.
Oh, I absolutely agree, but don't you want to sit and talk a wee bit more?
Talk a bit more. Yes, well, it's just I feel that Luca's probably waiting for me in the bedroom by now. And we'll start getting a little upset if I don't rejoin him, if you know what I mean. You were gone for like half an hour.
It took quite some time to find him. He's all the way down in the... Well...
Yes? Where did you find...
I understand if you're tired. Tomorrow we can talk all the day, I suppose. So I should console myself on that fact.
Yes, exactly. We will have a very intimate time shopping, I'm sure.
Well, that's all I want is just a little conversation. These bloodsuckers are so bloody tight with their talking. It's terrible. I've been bored out of my back teeth since being here.
We can talk and talk and talk tomorrow. I promise we can talk until the donkey's legs have fallen off. It's
Sounds delightful. I look forward to it. I'm sure there'll be a little cake shop that we can find too.
I'm sure somewhere there will be cake. There's always cake. Cake is good.
So you make your way back to Ulkov's not Ulkov's chambers.
I mean, he is Ulkov as well, right? So.
Yeah, absolutely. You make your way back to Luca's chambers. He is not there. There's just a note that has been left for you. And it simply says, "We must talk. Father angry."
Well, I guess that's what he was aiming for, wasn't it? Miran, so tomorrow we will go shopping. Yes?
You must understand that if we try and run, the Duke will find us. And he will
I know.
Body with us.
I doubt we'll be running tomorrow, but we might just run into some people that we know, for example, or you know very well.
She nods. I will prepare myself, I suppose.
Yes, so while we're shopping, we'll have a nice long chat with people about all the things that we know, quite loudly in the tailors, so that if anyone else is there, they might be finding this information quite useful, if you get my drift.
Fine weather here in the castle where we live in room 206.
Yes.
It's great that we have a western view from our window.
In the third
floor.
Yes.
Kind of conversation, my dear.
Great.
Yeah. All right.
Also, what else do you know about the dynamics between the Duke and his children?
They hate each other. Luca is envious of the position that Svetlanaski has, and Natashaski just wants to be left alone, basically, from what I can see. And the Duke, of course, doesn't think Luca is worthy of succeeding him, so there is all sorts of things at play. I can only...
Let's face it. How many years is he going to have to wait? A few centuries, possibly a millennia?
Succession is a little bit awkward when you're immortal.
That's probably why he's got you so involved. I would be more cautious if I were you. The Duke he has gone through several people that he is not happy with in the last week or so. He's not very lenient towards those he does not like.
No, it's fine. Lots of people don't like me. I have a tendency to burn things down accidentally. I mean, it is an accident 99% of the time, kind of. I mean,
it's not your fault if things are flammable.
Yeah, not my fault.
All right, the two of you whittle away the hours until eventually it is the following morning. The sun does not rise, or at least...
Oh, I need to have a rest because otherwise shopping will be a bit of a... I send her off so I can get my 4 hours rest.
Gotcha. All right, the mist seems to change hue slightly from being dark grey to being light grey as the sun slowly rises somewhere. Someone is happy. Not here, because here very, very many unhappy individuals. Con, what are you doing as life starts to come to the town?
You muted.
I go downstairs and have breakfast.
Before you go,
After I tell Jorek more or less what I want him to say to them.
yes, and I'm going to call you Anubis Kebetchet. So that's your name now.
Anubis
No,
batshit?
I'm okay.
Batshit
that shit.
Anubis.
If you must, I'm clearly not Sejet, but okay.
No, but you're a Sejet agent. They
Yeah.
like these things. That's your code name.
I'm not a Sejet. I am an independent contractor.
Yes.
I work for various governments, not you. Sometimes more than one at one time.
Hey, that's my shtick.
No, you just work for the highest bidder.
Which are usually different governments.
As you go down the stairs, the innkeeper looks at you and he says, "The renovations are delayed until next week. You will stay another week." That's fine.
Fantastic. I didn't know there were any. Breakfast?
Wait a minute. Who are you?
I'm staying in
I'm
104.
the jetty agent, please.
My name is Ludus. I'm the man asking you for breakfast. You do breakfast here, don't you?
Yes. Breakfast.
I give you money, you give me breakfast.
Yes, you sit there. You have breakfast. Yeah.
Thank you. Fantastic. I sit near the fire.
I
Marvelous. I'll have the works. And do you know where I can buy a horse?
Yes, there is horse seller down the road. He sells horses. You get horse there. I go tell the chef you want the workers. Yes.
This guy is not the sharpest fork in the drawer, isn't he?
No, but
Not
his
the
mind-
He's not the sharpest
The
spoon. in
problem is when he's got two wheels running at the same time, the one seems to take priority over the other, and then it's sort of
It's like a shopping cart, just like it always tearing off.
there's always one wheel trying to go to the right. So he's I talked to chef about order, and he sort of stumbles through the back door, and out. The
Marvelous.
Plot twist. He's the chef.
so, all right. So that's what he's doing. Adru'sai, you heading to the tailors?
Not quite so early, I think.
All right.
I kind of wanted to send another message, by the way. I figured out another one. I want to send it to my drinking buddy back in the Elven lands.
Good Lord, Adru'sai, your parents are paying your bills, right?
Got flat rate.
All right. You
I
are.
pay in headaches, okay?
Yes, you are sending a message to whom exactly?
Oh, what was his name again? The
Dragon.
professor.
Yeah, I've got several Elvish names here of the various individuals that you associated with.
I think the one she...
Yeah, the one I went to drink with.
Yes, his name.
Okay. If you give me a second,
Okay, so in the meantime, while she checks,
my
You
old
find that. All right.
I will, once I wake up, invisible up,
Right.
kind of tidy up also, kind of move him out of his bed, put him into, I don't know, under the kitchen or whatever,
Tolandir.
Got it. Yeah.
and go back to them basically, because I want to accompany invisibly Shadow Jorek to see what's happening with him, because I don't trust the Stasi further than I can throw them.
Gotcha. Jorek, where are you going?
Adru'sai was Tolandir, right?
Tolendin, yes.
Tollendin, yes. All right.
Tolandin.
Very expert.
Yeah. You work out your message to Tollendin in the meantime.
Yes.
Yeah, I go to the bridge and meet with the Kajah Bah.
Okay, that's what you are doing. I'm going to handle you quickly whilst everything else is going on. Atra, you following him along to the bridge. It's Atra. From your perspective, it's a circus. You see that as soon as Jorek leaves from the black wagon that's parked across the road from the tavern, you see the stick collecting lady sort of step out. She's sort of pulling on this old bonnet to make her look ancient, and she starts grabbing sticks and following Jorek. You see Sasha waiting on the bridge. So as you come down this beautifully cobbled little street with sort of flowers and things growing up the side, it would be pretty if there were actual flowers, just thorns and leaves at the moment. But as you come round, you're looking down over this rather nice, it probably would have been an open market at some point. And then there's a little bridge crossing over the river. Sasha is nervously pacing backwards and forwards across the top of the bridge. And there is another twig collector loitering on the other side of the bridge, gathering and throwing away sticks as fast as they can. That's what you're seeing, because you've sort of observed the whole sort of play before, and then you see Jorek heading towards Sasha.
Yes. Yeah, I just want to search for the sniper, to be the sniper that aims at the sniper, right?
Sure. So that is what you are looking for. You can give me a perception roll, because this person is desperately trying to not be seen.
25 and 26. Take your pick. 25 was the first roll.
Gotcha. Yes. So standing in a derelict part of a...
Oh, sorry, that was persuasion. So it's 2 numbers lower than that.
Well, it doesn't matter. It still beats my roll. Standing in a derelict section of roof with a fairly large longbow, you can see the other individual whom you know is Lubov, standing ready, bow and arrow, not knocked yet, but ready as he's watching this interview.
Yeah.
Give me an insight check, however.
Insight. Whom is he aiming for?
Yeah.
13.
He doesn't seem to care too much about Jorek's arrival. He seems focused more on the bridge itself. And
yeah, I mean, as a player, I kind of got what the problem here is.
Yes.
Okay, I know what I want to do. I will, when I see him, and he is like one story up.
Correct.
Try to get behind him slowly and quietly.
All right, so that's what you're going to be doing. Jorek, you approach Sasha. Sasha is sort of wringing his hands. He looks at you. Did you take my satchel last night? He does not look as if he has slept at all. He's got bags under his eyes. He's still wearing the same tabard he had on yesterday. It's covered in mud. His hands are dirty. His boots are dirty. Please tell me that you took my satchel. If you took my satchel, I understand you are. I will go away. You will never hear from me again.
There's a moment of hesitation when Jorek realizes, oh, that's the satchel. And I say, no, I did not take your satchel. I didn't know you lost your satchel. You don't look too well.
Give me a deception check when you talk to him about.
I'm telling the truth. I didn't take it.
You didn't
22.
take, but you have seen it.
Yeah. 22.
He sort of looks at you. His eyes are bloodshot. He's no, never mind. No, please tell me. You know what this other individual is. This person.
Well, you know how it is with these things. I have learned several things, but I don't know what is true and what is just a rumor. What I found out so far.
Yes.
He is an independent contractor, currently employed by, I think, the Sejet.
The Sejet? He reaches in and he pulls out this piece of paper and he starts furtively writing on it with a piece of charcoal, which he sort of taps and then he carries on writing.
He goes by the name of Anubis Kebechet. And he is here, and this is where it becomes speculation because this is just a rumor. But he is here to sow dissent and chaos in order to prepare for a Sejeti invasion of Drakenmooore. He is apparently in possession of some very important Kajah Bah documents, I heard, of some sort.
So mean.
Yes.
What are these documents that he has? Where did he find these documents?
Where he found them? They claim he stole it from an operative? Thank you, Natural 20. I stopped myself from laughing.
Do you know where this is important? Do you know where he is?
I don't know where he is right now, but I do know that he stayed in the same inn as me this last night. I saw him arrive at the evening.
That's poor innkeep.
Yeah. All right. Fine. Good. He basically pockets the note, and he just, you're fine. You're clear. What? Good. He just starts running towards the inn as fast as he possibly can. Atra, you watch as Lubov watches him run.
Yes, when I get it behind him, I kind of try to size him up as a person. Like, how does he carry himself? Is he like a very experienced fighter?
He looks as if he's got quite a lot of experience on him because he hasn't just got the one arrow at the ready. On the shelf of stone right next to me, he's got 5 more. But next to that is a very neat black satchel that's slightly open. And you can see inside of that, there are several vials of liquid, which are quite neatly arrayed.
So he is very kind of intently looking at the two, kind of talking, right?
Yes, he's now very focused on watching this.
I will slip one of the vials out.
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
Kind of step outside of his vision range again.
Gotcha.
Leather up a weapon. And I'll try
and draw what? As you're doing that, he's seeing that Sasha is leaving. So he's starting to put away the bow. He's placing the arrow back on the wall.
And then I'll try to do my best Riddick impersonation here. What is it, like between the 5th and 6th lumber?
So you're trying to coat this liquid on the blade as well? Of your blade. All right.
Yes, try to handle it carefully, obviously, because I don't know what exactly it is, but I kind of have an idea.
Sure.
Pop the cork.
It's tiny, smoky stuff. No, all right, not a problem.
And I'll try to backstab the F out of this.
He does not seem to notice that you're there, and you have plenty of time to apply this to your blade because he's busy packing the bow away. The bow, you see, is quite a complicated affair because he flicks a switch and this long bow suddenly folds in half. Mm-hmm. And he starts to slide that into a quarterstaff-like thing, which is next to the wall as he's busy going through that.
Yes.
And then you want to make your attack against him.
Yes, but before I do, aside from the bow and the arrows, did he have any other weapons on him?
Not that you could see. He seemed to be dressed in a fairly standard tabard like the ones that during
it was just like if there's like a sheath on the side or something, right?
He's got a dagger, but that's about it.
Yeah, well, I too. Let's give him another one.
All right, so you stab away at him. You don't have to roll to hit. You do hit him.
Okay, do I crit him? Because he's surprised.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's gonna... so I don't know what exactly the liquid does, obviously. Sure. But he's gonna take... so D4 instead. So he's gonna take...
For a moment, I thought you were gonna backstab him with your smash hammer. That would be fun.
It's not really backstab, right?
Backsmash.
Backsmash.
Messy.
Exactly.
Very, very messy, though.
Yeah. Things happen, right? So he's going to take 21 points of damage from the attack, in addition to 71 points.
Sure. So as he collapses over with this sort of gurgling sound,
I become visible.
You become visible. It doesn't seem who you are because as you pull the blade out, he's in the motion of reaching towards the wound as he naturally would.
Yes.
But then you see all of his muscles tense up.
Yes.
And the blood sprays out of the wound, but suddenly it hits some kind of intense velocity because there's a final squirt and then no more blood comes out of the wound. It's almost as
Okay.
if the wound is magically sealed shut, and he remains absolutely motionless. He's not moving at all.
Okay, so I make sure that he's dead before I do anything else.
You sort of move around to look at him. His eyes are in mid close as he is desperately trying to reach, but he's just not moving.
I'm not saying in the medicine check making sure that he's dead. I mean in the coup de grace kind of way, making sure that he's dead. I then kind of take a closer look at the, poison / whatever it is. If I know this, kind of smell it. I don't lick it. If I can just smell it, don't touch it at all, right? Just be very, very careful with that. And then I'll just continue where he started, kind of pack the things together.
Right.
Take them with me. Take his book because I'm checking out another book. That happens to find me. These things find me. And I will also write a note on a paper, which then I will try to get behind and find Sasha, turning invisible again. So that's my plan. I don't know.
What are you writing on the note?
We know.
You're leaving that on his corpse. Just so I'm absolutely clear. All right. So you're writing, we know, and you leave it on the corpse. You're then packing up everything. The poison, looking at him, looking at what happened.
Yes.
You suspect it's paralysis. And it's a fairly quick acting paralysis. You don't think it's particularly strong because when you turn the bottle from side to side, the liquid is quite viscous, but it's not thickly viscous. Usually the
more extracted it is. Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Well, how many vials of that do I have?
You have another 3. You have another
3.
Yeah, there's only enough for one coating each
time. Yeah, got it. That's fine.
Looks pretty nasty.
If you give me the DC, I don't need to remind you all the time.
Yes, the DC is a mere 14, which he
That's fine.
unfortunately completely failed. You then have a folding composite longbow.
Yes. And some arrows, whatever.
4 arrows. He doesn't have a satchel full of documentation.
Right.
He didn't bring that with him. He does have a small satchel at his side, which a cursory glance, there are some notes in it, but not a huge amount. Do you take that with you?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Sekhet, your curtains are flung open, and although it's not brilliant light out there, it's much more light than there was previously. And you see the gnome standing.
Almost like England.
Yeah. Well, come on, we've got to go shopping now.
We gotta go shopping.
Aye.
Yes. What time is it?
I don't care. We're going shopping because I want breakfast and conversation.
I agree with you about the breakfast point. Yeah, that's a very good point. We need breakfast. I have bacon. We need to find bacon. Bacon is good. Don't you agree?
Is brilliant. Come on, let's go.
We just need to get Miran before we go. And I need to get dressed. I can't. I'm in a 90.
I don't care.
I'm sure you don't, but I do.
Yeah. All right, fine.
Go get Miran. Tell our servants to get her up and dressed. And then we'll go find bacon. Good God, and some coffee.
Adru'sai?
Yes.
You have a message to Tollenden?
I do.
And it is?
Okay. Dragon killed in Valenhold. Stay safe. Protect book. Only sufficient weapons. Trouble with Drakenmooore. Vampires. Strengths and weaknesses. Mists magical. Please advise. Beyond drink heavily.
All right.
Then I'm going to go out shopping, and I'm going to go to the tailor's, and I'm going to bring the rolled up dragon hide.
Right. So on that note, we'll be back next week. The Windswift continues. Thank you for watching. We do a review after every episode. If you don't stay with us for that, Thank you, and we'll see you again next week. Same time, same place. For those of you who do remain behind, Dice of Destiny says that who is going to start us off with the review is number 2, and that's me. So all I can say on this adventure is this has become an absolute catastrophic disaster for Kajah Bah, as they are now clearly in the middle of a complete and utter terrorist invasion.
Oh, man.
Evidenced by dead bodies showing up left, right, and center, agents or double agents, and there is clear evidence linking everybody to everything and nothing to no one. So
I was just going to die from stress before we get to it.
there is all kinds of things that are going wrong here, and yes, it's just a lot of fun, I think. So hopefully it is fun for everybody else. Sekhet, you didn't have a lot to do this particular mission, I suppose, apart from seed chaos and organize a escape and eat cake.
Eat cake is always good. Like I said, you can't buy happiness, but you can eat cake. It's almost the same thing.
Is this a life lesson to live by?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Like, come on.
I need to buy
eat
cake.
right now and eat cake. So yeah, I mean, I'm just setting things up, but then again, there's a lot of setting up going on this entire. It's not just me, okay? There's a lot of people.
I'm not setting anybody up.
Atra is like on some sort of killing spree again.
Serial killer running around.
Nobody knows.
No one knows what that
He
was.
was not seen nearby.
Exactly.
So yeah, I'm sure things will move along swiftly because the gnome's a bit of an interesting character. So yeah, this is a fun episode, really. And I get to be bacon in the next one.
Oh, don't you wish, since I can't have it here. All right, yes, absolutely. That is, Atramentum, you are running around leaving a trail of death and destruction, which is only going to be... Allegedly. Sorry, yes, allegedly having done that.
Yeah, I mean, Atramentum is not a good person. He's going to murder if he sees any benefit to him in it. He's not going to murder anybody who he doesn't see like the benefit in it. Like, it's not reft like as in that necessarily. Trying to sow a little bit of discontent. Working good so far.
Absolutely.
A little bit worried about the druid right now, honestly. And his plans, but well, he's an adult man. He can do and let whatever he wishes to, and I'll just try to use it to my advantage, right? I mean, that's kind of...
He is also sometimes an adult octopus, and sometimes he's an adult raven, but we don't hold it against him.
Whatever guys he might use. No, as a player, I think it was fairly interesting because we learned a lot. I think actually that Sekhet had the most crucial role in this session, in my opinion. Maybe, if not, maybe the longest, but I think the most, pivotal. Looking forward to seeing things going forward. I would like to have more information. It's like all very gray area right now, very like hope this is what we think it is. But yeah, well, just winging it, right? I guess in Con and my case, maybe literally at some point.
Right.
But, yeah, I enjoyed it very much.
Good. Yeah, more information is always good. Jorek, you were trying to get more wood, and you just couldn't get wood.
There is no wood. No, Jorek was mainly trying to keep up the pretense of being a trader, because even if the Kajah Bah suspects him of multiple things, the more I play the role, the less reason they have to suspect me, and they focus on other things. And now that I got to present the information to Sasha, he's busy doing other things. So right now, my job is mostly just waiting for the opportune moment to extract my sister.
Right.
Not sure how that's going to happen just yet, but we'll find a way.
Yeah, 2 days left to the festival.
Yep.
Indeed. Atra.
Yeah, Jorek is not convinced that the Palantir is a fog thing, because Jorek has lived here and there's fog everywhere. In that case, they must have many.
Well, maybe it's like mobile kind of towers that they have.
Fog towers.
They're little old ladies with volunteers just wandering.
Speaking of tower usage, yes, Adru'sai.
Yes,
sending messages everywhere.
they have. I feel a little guilty for like just, oh no, I have another thing. Oh no, I have another thing. No, we can't move on yet. I have another thing. And it's like, there was a bit of a break for us in recording. So there's been a couple of weeks and I've had a lot of time to write messages. I'm like, yeah, I actually have another one, but that can wait. Do not need to do that now. But no, I had a lot of fun. It was just, I like the idea of Adru'sai, because Adru'sai is turning into a very, very useful character, and just having all these little tools, and it's interesting because it's so rarely how you get to build a D&D character. Because you always want to have like some damage output and you want some defense, especially when you're a wizard and you're very squishy. It's so rarely that you get to do this just absolute support character, which I'm enjoying a lot. And I'm enjoying, I think Adru'sai as well is enjoying being useful and sort of becoming more powerful as well, which is a lot of fun.
Adru'sai is the new Oracle.
Yeah, sort of.
Took over the role a bit, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's way more limited, but it's just becoming one of these signature spells almost, like the comprehend languages and the message and just which is honestly feels really good to have as signature spells instead of like fireball and lightning stuff, because it's just how I love to play D&D.
Right. No, good. I can't wait to see the response that you get from Tollenden.
Same.
Leave the smashing to Arthur.
And on the point, I don't have any problem with you saying like, oh yeah, I need to do this and I need to do this. No problem at all. And my guess in general is that this is going to go, at some point, going to get very hectic.
Right.
That's kind of my guess. Feels like.
It does indeed, especially with Con's plans now about fruition, ordering a full works breakfast. There's lots of food involved in this show. I like it. I do indeed. Con, what are your plans? Give us a hint. What can we expect from?
Do you have a plan?
Nah, it's going to be pretty spontaneous, really. No, my primary plan is to distract the security apparatus as much as possible, because I am still very much an unknown entity to them, and if as is Atra, and if they can just focus their attention, or they think that it is a threat that is not associated with the rest of the party necessarily, then maybe that gives the guys some space to do something. That's my plan. So depending on, it does kind of depend on how they respond to me and what they do, how Guy decides they behave. But the idea is just to kind of just lead them on a bit of a merry chase, do things that make them more suspicious, get more attention, and we'll see where we go from there.
Right. Yeah.
Con is also, less respectful of the social structure here. If I can damage things, break things, shake things up, I don't care what that thing in the top of the tower does.
Bring the trees in.
It's important to the vampires, so clearly it should be broken.
And that's actually a thing that I enjoyed very much, because as a druid and human,
this entire place offends me. So
exactly, and I love to see that in the change in character and how he behaves towards these creatures.
That's it. So, there's also a certain Oaken who is going, I knew he would learn to hate the vampires. I knew it.
He had it in him.
I raised him well.
Give in to your anger. No, wait, that was the Gathwin.
Anyway, thank you for joining us, and we'd love to hear your thoughts down below. If you don't know, we have a Discord running, and it's in the doobly-doo below for the link to join the Discord, where you can chat to this crazy bunch of people when they're on, and try and chat and discuss and see what the future might hold for the intrepid crew.
Well, Tobias is always on there. You can always get hold of him.
Oh, come on.
Okay.
I'm not on that
on
much.
about 19 and a half hours per day.
Right.
Yes.
When he's not sleeping.
Sometimes when he is sleeping too, and those are interesting messages. So until next week, thank you for watching from all of us. Goodbye.
Bye.
All right, there we go.